Reptiles can be cute and cuddly, but some of them look downright terrifying. So today, let's go over the top 5 scariest reptiles you could possibly own. My name's Adam, this is Diamond, you're watching Wickens Wicked Reptiles. Stick around. Okay, so there is a caveat here. This is the most terrifying looking reptiles, but they're actually sweethearts, because reptiles aren't scary. Well, except for maybe like saltwater crocodiles. Those are living dinosaurs. But most reptiles, especially the ones you can get in captivity, are normally placid and cuddly, and if not cuddly, at least they don't mind being handled, and they're definitely not out to hurt you. Reptiles don't want to hurt you. If they do bite you or tail whip you, it's because they're scared of you. So, you know that whole saying, they're more scared of you than you are of them? Well, that goes for all reptiles. Started off with number 5, one of my favorites, Dumerils boas. I don't know what it is about Dumerils boas. They look menacing, but they're not. Dumerils boas are sweethearts. These are actually a substantially sized animal. Not too big, not big enough that they would hurt a human or could hurt a human if they wanted to, but they're big enough that they're impressive, they're bulky, they're heavy. Dumerils boas are from Madagascar, one of the coolest places on Earth. They're a ground boa, so they're gonna be kind of under the foliage, kind of hiding amongst the foliage, and that's why they have a pattern like they do. It's beautiful. It's cryptic, it looks very strange and weird and almost menacing, not even just the face, but the way the body looks, but it's just to blend in so that they can be predators and not be prey. And when I say big, we've seen them get up to 9 feet, but generally you're gonna see them right around the 6-foot mark. I've got 2 full-grown ones, they're both 6 feet, they're both, I think one's 11 pounds and one's 13 pounds, and they're pretty girthy, they're robust, for sure. Now, they're both friendly, they do really well out being handled, no issues whatsoever. That's the thing, is they're one of the more calm type disposition animals, one of the more calm demeanors in a boa or any snake species that I own. I think that Dumerils boas are one of the most underrated snakes that you could possibly own ever. These are slow moving animals, they're not gonna jump scare you. I mean, they're fast when they want food, but generally they're pretty good about knowing when it's food time and when it's not. Same thing as most reptiles, or same thing as most snakes, I should say. Take a hook, tap them, get them out of the enclosure, wham bam, Bob's your uncle, Fran's your aunt, you're having a good time with your Dumerils boa. But I can't lie, their face looks scary, I guess. Like, not scary, but like they mean business. Like, this is an animal that means business, and really the only business they want is the cuddle business. They will sit on your lap for hours and not think about it twice. They're kind of like the perfect movie snake if you don't like ball pythons. Oh, Dumerils care guide right here. Let's move on. Number 4, probably the most rare species we've talked about in a long time, earless monitors. Borneo earless monitors are not something you're gonna find in the pet trade very often. Now, if your name is Mason Barnes, somehow you got your hands on one, love that dude's channel, but at the same time, I've really never seen them in personal collections besides maybe a couple. It's really not something for the faint of pocketbook. I don't know. If you don't have money, you're not having an earless monitor, period. These are very endangered animals from parts of Asia. You can't just go to a reptile store and go find one. They're not on expo tables most of the time. You're really going to have to seek one. And if they're not sought out by you, you're not gonna stumble across one basically ever. Unless you're on TikTok and you follow Mason Barnes. So I could really beat this dead horse, but at the end of the day, they are menacing looking. Look at this animal's face. It looks scary. It looks like a freaking dragon. It's like Mushu. If you have one and you don't name it Mushu, what are you doing? They probably breathe fire also, but not really. In actuality, they're tiny. They're not gonna bite you or tail whip you. They're semi-aquatic. They're probably just gonna sit there and look super dope inside of an aquarium, or not aquarium, but terrarium, paludarium, I guess. I can't really say much about earless monitors because I'm not an expert on them, most people aren't, and you're probably not gonna find one anyway. I just think they're amazing and more people should know about them. Earless monitors are pretty fantastic. Number 3, a species we have never talked about on the channel before, spiny-tailed iguanas. Now, I talk about green iguanas all the time. I talk about Cuban rock iguanas, I talk about rhino iguanas, but I don't talk about spiny-tailed iguanas because they're so variable. Now, there are 2 at my local reptile shop, or there have been over the course of the last year or so. The one they have now is not the most tamed down reptile that you have. He's not like he's gonna bite you or tail whip you, he's just flighty. Where some of these animals, if you tame them down from a young age, can be sweethearts. And that's the case. These people who I know who work at this reptile shop are great with reptiles. So if they get animals as babies, they grow up to be really placid animals because they put a lot of work into it. If they sell an animal as a baby who they haven't really had a lot of time with, it sometimes will come back with issues of behavioral sorts. Behavioral issues is what I'm trying to say. Because a lot of people don't know how to put the time in, and it takes time and effort for certain animals. But just the menacing look on these animals' faces is almost enough to scare people away from even trying to socialize them. But you can. You can definitely socialize spiny-tailed iguanas. It just takes a little bit of effort. And their look, how they look a little bit menacing and scary, is off-putting to some people. Most reptiles could make a great pet for most people. There are certain animals like caiman lizards that don't make a good pet for me, so I have a tegu instead, right? Some people don't want a green iguana, but maybe a spiny-tailed iguana would be best for them. So anyway, reptiles that I don't think are worth the hassle, there's a video right here. That was a fun one to make. Let's move on. Number 2, the scary, menacing, giant Chinese cave geckos, which are actually 7 or 8 inches. They are pretty darn tiny, these guys. Imagine an emo version of a leopard gecko. Like if a leopard gecko had a Fall Out Boy t-shirt on. I'm in the deep, deep basement of Mom's house.
Don't bring anyone mother into this.
Like a leopard gecko and a My Chemical Romance cover band. That's basically what a Chinese cave gecko is. That's what they look like. They almost look like they're wearing eyeliner and those crazy contacts that, anyway, you get the point. You get the point. These are from China and surrounding area, obviously. They live in caves. They have very strong feet. They will climb on rock faces. These are one of the most unique, one of the most underrated reptiles that you could possibly own. I had a trio of them and I could not get them to breed. So I gave them to somebody else who had more success in breeding them. And I can't wait to have the babies when they come back to me. This is an animal that for me is a have fun and watch rather than try to breed. So if there's anything that I can say, they're more difficult to breed than African fat-tailed geckos and leopard geckos, which they look very similar to. Just, I don't know, like the purples and yellows on their scales. One of the most unique, they're all freaking unique, Adam. Oh, one of the most unique ones, say it again. But for real, they're one of the most unique reptiles, one of the most unique lizards you could possibly own. And they're amazing too because although they look super scary and menacing, like they don't want anything to do with you, and if they were big enough, you probably wouldn't want to be anywhere near them either, they're almost cute because they're so tiny and dainty and non-threatening, but their face looks like they are. They're kind of like the Chihuahua of the reptile world. You know how Chihuahuas are always like rough and tough, but they're this size? That's kind of like that. That's what they are. They're the Chihuahuas of the lizard world, Chinese cave geckos. So if you ever get the opportunity to have one, do your research. There's a video right here all about them. They like it cool. They like it humid, which is kind of unique. I just think that they're awesome. And the fact that they eat the same sort of diet as a leopard gecko, there's really not that many people that I think couldn't take care of them if they really wanted to, if they did like the bare amount of research. But of course, always research everything to death before you actually get one. I'm just saying these guys are pretty easy and pretty awesome, and they look pretty scary. You could get yourself a guard cave gecko to guard your stuff. No one messes with a lion, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
And number 1 most terrifying, scary looking reptile isn't even a reptile. It's a spadefoot toad. Spadefoot toads are hilarious because their faces look so grumpy. Like if they could, they would snap you in two, but they can't because they're small. They're very tiny. I have 2 of them. I love them. They're amazing. They're fun to take out and take photographs of, but I'll be honest, they're boring. They hide in the substrate 99% of the time. I never see them out ever unless I drop food in. And even then, best of luck. You're gonna have to catch them at night when they think no one's around. I think they're cool because their eyes are unique, they're fun to photograph, they're easy to photograph, they just don't take a lot of effort. A lot of people will put them into a tub and not even open the tub for a year. Because in the wild, a lot of these species of spadefoot toads, they'll hide under lakes for up to 2 years until they hear it rain. They'll come up, they'll eat, they'll breed, they'll hide under a lake again. Like, they are the most low maintenance pet that I could possibly think of. Absolute sweethearts too, by the way. If you do take them out and you put them in your hand, they just kind of sit there like, I don't really like you, but I'm not gonna move. Like, I think that they're really cool. Spadefoot toads also on the back of their foot have this keratin type substance that is a, well, shovel, I guess, like a spade, which is why they're called Spadefoot toads. The same stuff that your fingernails are made of, that's what they have on the bottom of their back feet. And that helps them bury into substrate because, like I said, they bury into substrate and then they just kind of sit there for a while. Spadefoot toads, although they look menacing, are not. And even if they tried to bite you, they don't have teeth big enough for you to even notice. And that'd be kind of hilarious, actually. What do you think? Let me know, what is the scariest looking reptile you've ever seen that's actually a sweetheart? Let me know in the comment section below and give me an idea for next week's video. That's where all the video ideas come from in the first place. And thank you so much for hitting like and subscribe. You guys are amazing. Honestly, that changes the way this channel is broadcast on YouTube. So thank you for doing that. And a special thank you to the Patreon supporters. You guys are freaking amazing. Thank you so much for what you do. I get to share extra videos early, discounts on the Merge Bitey Boys Club because he bites my ear all the time, but he didn't today. Good job, Diamond. Anyway, all that and more for as little as $1 a month. And that's it. Because I do videos on Mondays and Thursdays. I will see you in the next one.